562-page document is a damning report by all standards. The auditors have given a qualified opinion, which means an unsatisfactory fiscal management performance last year. The report reads that the fish in the country's waters are being misappropriated. The prison inmates are victims of mismanagement. Hard-working university students are overtaken by those who can afford to bribe lecturers, and the rest of mankind are starved off by people who have their hands on the till. The roots of the alleged malfeasance seem deep and the branches wide. The report found across virtually all public enterprises and commissions that there were irregularities in taxation, inventory, and unretired expenditure. Some payments could not be accounted for. These alleged irregularities amount to nearly $4 million. Additionally, cash losses also account for more than $11 million, enough to finance the procurement of free healthcare drugs and other essential medical supplies for the entire country, as well as cover half of the budget to feed children in schools next year. Crucially, it takes a deep dive into the office of the president, especially on overseas travels involving the first family. Impressed for various travels, the audit says, was not properly retired. It calls for the monies to be paid back to the state, not least because the retirement receipts were marred by what the report calls discrepancies, inaccuracies, and inconsistencies. So what does the government say in reaction to the overall audit report? Mohammed Rahman Suare is a government spokesman.
We just received the audit report yesterday. We are studying it. And as a government which has a strong foundation of transparency and accountability, we will act on all legitimate recommendations.
What this report shows is clearly it undermines that track record which you are emphasizing on.
This report is very sensational. I have seen amounts allegedly not accounted for, which are now being mistaken for amounts that have been embezzled. At the time the auditors visited, some of the documents held by some vote controllers were not available at the time. Nobody is a criminal yet. The audit is a process. People still have time to establish their reputation, to clear their names, and to establish the facts as they are.
It doesn't put the presidency in a good light in terms of giving account for fiscal goings on there.
The president does not handle resources. So there are people responsible for managing resources in the presidency. As long as there are legitimate allegations ascertained by the audit report, appropriate actions will be taken to ensure restitution, to ensure that these situations are remedied.
Civil society has expressed concern over the report. Ibrahim Tommy heads the Center for Accountability and Rule of Law.
It is certainly shocking. You would have hoped that by now we'll be making significant progress in terms of managing our revenue as well as public expenditure. But the report clearly shows that there are still significant gaps and there are still a lot of areas that we need to focus on as a country. The government certainly needs to take public financial management a bit more seriously.
What do you make of the details about the Office of the President?
Obviously, that is, I guess, the highlight of the report. My hope is that the Office of the President will put out a clear statement explaining how those transactions were made. In particular, the report notes that certain payments were claimed to have been made, but upon verification, the payments were not done.
The Anti-Corruption Commission is set to have a busy Christmas. In a press release, it says it has started immediate examination of the report, assuring that it will work speedily by addressing the issues without favor.
And that's Umaru Fofana reporting there from Freetown. This is